For months, Thomas had lived among strangers on the streets, watching the world from a place he had never experienced before. From the outside, from the bottom. Every morning, he sat near the entrance of a busy shopping district and watched people rush past him. Men in expensive suits walked quickly while talking on their phones. Women wearing designer clothes entered luxury stores without looking at the people sleeping outside. Young professionals laughed with their friends while stepping over those who had nowhere to go. Thomas noticed something that disturbed him. People were kinder to expensive cars than they were to struggling human beings. They admired wealth, they respected status, but they ignored pain. And after watching the world for months, Thomas began to understand something. Sometimes, the easiest way to discover someone's true character was to take away everything they thought made you important. Across the street from where Thomas usually sat was a small restaurant called the Golden Spoon. It was not a fancy place. It was the kind of restaurant where ordinary people came for affordable meals and friendly service. That was where Hannah Carter worked. Hannah was the kind of person most people overlooked. She was not famous, she was not wealthy, she did not wear expensive clothes or live in a beautiful apartment. But she had something many wealthy people had lost: a good heart. Every morning, Hannah arrived at work before everyone else. She cleaned tables, prepared menus, smiled at difficult customers, and worked long hours just to pay her bills. Life had never been easy for her, but she always believed that hard work and kindness would eventually lead her to a better future. Unfortunately, someone she loved had made her life much harder. Daniel, the man she once believed would stand beside her forever. 2 years earlier, Hannah and Daniel had been deeply in love. They were not rich, they did not have luxury vacations or expensive gifts, but they had dreams. They talked about building a small home together. They talked about marriage. They talked about growing old together. Hannah believed she had found someone who loved her for who she was. But everything changed when Daniel met Victoria Anderson. Victoria was everything Hannah was not. She came from wealth. She drove expensive cars. She wore designer clothes. She worked as a senior supervisor for one of the largest multinational companies in America. She walked into rooms and people noticed her. She had connections, power, influence, and Daniel was fascinated by the life she represented. Slowly, the man Hannah loved began changing. The calls became shorter, the messages became fewer, the promises became excuses, until one evening, Hannah discovered the truth. Daniel was leaving her. Not because they stopped loving each other, not because they had problems they could not solve, but because he believed he had found someone better, someone richer, someone who could give him the lifestyle he wanted. The most painful part was that Daniel and Victoria did not simply move on. They made sure Hannah knew she had been replaced. They wanted her to feel small. They wanted her to understand that in their eyes, she was beneath them. Whenever they visited the Golden Spoon, they would deliberately choose Hannah's section. They would sit comfortably while she served them. They would laugh about their expensive trips. They would talk about luxury homes and exclusive events. They knew every word hurt her, but they enjoyed watching her pretend she was fine. Victoria especially loved reminding Hannah of their difference. To Victoria, Hannah was proof that some people were simply meant to struggle. One evening, after a long and exhausting shift, Hannah stepped outside the restaurant. The streets were busy. People were walking home. Cars filled the road. Nobody noticed the tired waitress standing alone outside. Then she saw them, Daniel and Victoria. They were standing beside a luxury car, laughing. The moment Daniel saw Hannah, a smile appeared on his face. Not a friendly smile, a cruel one. Hannah tried to walk past them. She did not want another painful conversation, but Victoria stopped her. She looked Hannah up and down. Then she smiled, the kind of smile people give when they think they have already won. That was when Hannah realized something. Some people don't hurt you because they are angry. They hurt you because making you feel powerless makes them feel powerful. And that night, in front of strangers, Hannah was about to be humiliated again. But someone was watching. The homeless man sitting across the street, Thomas Reed. For weeks, Thomas had watched Hannah. He had noticed something nobody else noticed. Despite everything she suffered, she was still kind. She was the only person who regularly brought leftover food from the restaurant and gave it to people living on the streets, including him. She had never asked his name. She had never judged him. She had never looked at him like he was worthless. And now, as Thomas watched Daniel and Victoria prepare to destroy her confidence again, something inside him changed. For the first time in months, the homeless man stood up. The man everyone ignored, the man everyone underestimated, the man nobody thought mattered, walked towards Hannah. Hannah had learned a long time ago that some battles were impossible to win. You could explain the truth, you could defend yourself, you could tell people your side of the story, but sometimes people did not care about the truth. They only cared about the version of the story that made them feel superior. That was exactly how Hannah felt standing outside the Golden Spoon that evening. The cold wind moved through the streets as she stood facing the two people who had caused her so much pain. Daniel, the man who once promised to love her forever, and Victoria, the woman who took him away and seemed determined to remind Hannah of it every chance she got. Victoria leaned against her expensive car, looking at Hannah's old work uniform. Her eyes moved from Hannah's shoes to her simple handbag. A small smile appeared on her face. It was not a smile of kindness. It was a smile filled with satisfaction. "Still working here?" Victoria asked. Hannah said nothing. She had learned that answering only gave Victoria more opportunities to hurt her. But Daniel laughed. "Hannah, you don't have to pretend you are not bothered." His words made her look at him. Bothered by what? Daniel looked around at the busy street. By the fact that some people move forward while others stay in the same place. The words hit harder than Hannah expected, because Daniel knew exactly where to hurt her. He knew she had been working extra hours. He knew she was struggling. He knew she was trying her best. And instead of supporting her, he used her struggles against her. Victoria stepped closer. "Daniel is right. You need to accept reality." She adjusted her expensive handbag. "Some people are simply not meant for certain lifestyles." Hannah looked at her. "What does that mean?" Victoria smiled. "It means you should stop pretending you belong in places you cannot afford." A few people nearby slowed down. They were listening. Some looked curious, others looked entertained. Hannah felt her face become hot. She hated scenes like this. Not because she was ashamed of her life. She was proud of working hard. What hurt was being made to feel worthless by people who once claimed to love her. Across the street, Thomas watched silently. He had seen many things since he began living on the streets. He had seen people lose everything. He had seen people judged because of their clothes. He had seen kindness disappear when money was involved. But watching Hannah stand there reminded him of something. A person's worth was not measured by their bank account. It was measured by their character. And Hannah had shown more character than many wealthy people he had known. Thomas remembered the first time she noticed him. It was a rainy morning. Most people had walked past him. Some complained that he was blocking the sidewalk. But Hannah had stopped. She had handed him a warm meal. She had smiled. She had spoken to him like he was an ordinary person. She did not know his past. She did not know his name. She did not know what he had once owned. She only saw someone who was hungry. That simple act had stayed in his mind, and now she was the one who needed someone to stand beside her. Daniel folded his arms.
"You know, Hannah, you should actually be happy for us." Hannah looked confused. "Happy?" "Yes," he smiled. "Victoria has helped me become a better version of myself. She showed me what success looks like." Hannah stared at him. "Is that what you call success?" Daniel frowned. "What? Leaving someone who loved you because you found someone richer?" The crowd became quiet. Victoria's expression changed. She did not like being challenged. "You should be careful, Hannah." Hannah looked at her. "Careful about what?" Victoria stepped closer. "People like you often become bitter when they see others doing better." That sentence broke something inside Hannah, not because Victoria insulted her, but because Hannah realized how little these people understood her. She was not jealous, she was hurt. There was a difference. Then a voice came from behind them, a calm voice, a voice that did not belong to someone who was afraid. "That is enough." Everyone turned. Thomas stood there, the homeless man from the sidewalk. His old jacket hung loosely around him. His shoes were worn. His beard was untrimmed. To everyone watching, he looked like the least important person in the entire street. Daniel looked at him and immediately laughed. "Are you serious?" Thomas said nothing. Daniel looked around at the people around him. "Does anyone know this man?" Nobody answered, because nobody did. Daniel smiled. "Exactly." He looked back at Thomas. "So why don't you go back to wherever you came from?" Thomas remained calm. "Because I know what I just witnessed." Victoria looked annoyed. "And what exactly did you witness?" Thomas looked at Hannah. Then he looked at Daniel. "I witnessed someone trying to make another person feel small because they think they're better." Daniel laughed. "You're giving advice about respect? Look at yourself." The crowd became uncomfortable. Everyone understood what he was doing. He was judging Thomas by his appearance, the exact thing Thomas was trying to prove. Victoria smiled. "Daniel, don't waste your time." She looked at Thomas. "Some people are just unhappy with their own lives, so they interfere with others." Thomas looked at her. For a moment, something changed in his eyes. Not anger, disappointment. Because he had seen people like her before. People who believed money gave them the right to look down on others. Then he spoke. "Having money does not make someone valuable." He paused. "And lacking money does not make someone worthless." The street became silent. Hannah looked at him. She had never heard anyone defend her like that, not even Daniel when they were together. Daniel stepped forward. "You should know your place." Thomas looked at him.